Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for joining me on Zoom here today. I heard that you had some questions for me, and I'm just out there talking to constituents, and I'd love to answer your questions. So, what's on your mind?
Good morning, Katie. I'm thankful that you were willing to take the time to talk to me and address my questions. I have a lot of different questions, but I'll focus on our county's dirt roads. I'm a landowner. I live on French Creek, which has kind of made some press lately. But I talked to other landowners who live on our county's historic dirt roads, and we're concerned about public roads being privatized. So I have a couple questions about that.
Okay, well, go ahead. I'll do my best to answer.
All right. Well, first, I'm interested in understanding how well you get the significance and history of our dirt roads in Okanagan County. So I wonder if you can say something about why protecting public rights of way might be important.
Well, yeah, thank you for that question. The dirt road, well, roads around here are critical for commerce, as everybody knows, and access to land for all kinds of things, recreation and so forth. But, our dirt roads here, I think about half of the county roads in our county are unpaved. If I'm remembering right. So there's a lot of roads going back into all kinds of very beautiful and interesting places. Some of those roads started out as trails hundreds of years ago, and some of them were gradually developed and made into actual roads that vehicles could travel on. So the history of this goes back to the very beginning of our county in terms of them being public. And so, not only from a historical perspective, but from a practical perspective, they're really important. And as we grow and more people are building homes out in the more remote areas, uh, we have to be mindful of safety and security of the folks who live out there. I know that one big issue that's really on people's minds, especially now after we've had our third catastrophic wildfire in 6 years, is safe egress. The people that live back up in these drainages, if their main road is blocked by a fire or even a flood or some other natural occurrence, if they don't have an alternate way to get out, uh, that's terrifying. I don't even want to imagine, the tragedies that could happen because of that. And so we really need to have that in mind. And those public roads they are public. And so it doesn't matter if they're surrounded by private land. If they were public from the beginning, they remain public unless they go through an official process to change that status. But I think the county has an obligation, unless there's a really good reason, to keep the public roads public when it's in the best interest of the community.
I really appreciate that. That's comforting. I think that will comfort a lot of us who have had a different experience in recent years. Um, are you ready for my
So
question?
what is your experience? I mean, what is your take on it?
Well, my take on it is that, well, it's a few things. What you said about fire escape is very real for a lot of folks, and it's one thing to give that lip service, and point it out in a fire plan, and it's another thing to really use political will to keep those roads open and recognize their value. And I guess the only other thing I'd say is that a public right of way, whether it's a road that's been maintained for a long time or it's an old dusty trail that still belongs to the county, those rights have value, and giving them away should not be done lightly. So I really appreciate your response. Seems to reflect that you understand that, which is where I
Yeah,
was next.
my approach is, if you have something of value, I mean, there are times when it is appropriate to sell it or give it away, but I would say that needs to be done very, very carefully. And the right of access is extremely valuable. And I would be reluctant to give that away unless there was a really good reason that would benefit the most people.
Great. Well, that leads me to my next question. It has a little bit of history attached, so I hope that's okay. In the past 20 years, our county has had numerous public roads privatized by two different processes, either by vacation, which is a very public process that requires hearings and has a comment period, or by quiet title, which is a court process that's often not visible to the public unless they read the legal ads, but it is visible to county officials. For example, the Three Devils Road was given away through the vacation process, in which the county commissioners decided against public opinion that that road had no value to the public. The French Creek Road is another one that's gotten more attention recently. That was almost given away through the quiet title process when the county didn't initially respond to that process. That's how other roads have been lost. When the public discovered that, they organized themselves and contested it. And so here we are today. It's uncertain what the outcome of that's going to be. But I guess the basis of my question is that other roads are going to be contested by more or less publicly visible processes. As a county commissioner, how will you evaluate whether a road serves the public interest or not?
Well, I think that the commissioners have to do their homework, and I'm actually good at doing homework, and I enjoy digging into the records. And I think, you know, our county has a lot of historical records. I know in the French Creek Road case, a lot of those records were not consulted when the county initially chose to not claim that road as a public road. And so it wasn't until they got a lot of questions, and actually it was some private citizens that found the records that proved that it was a public road. So I think the commissioners and the county employees need to really be on top of their record keeping and know where to go to find the information and do their homework. And not try to just lean one way or the other because of pressure from any certain landowners or situations like that. I think that the general public good needs to be the bottom line and the main consideration. And with the quiet title, it's tough because it is more of a private, well, it's a less visible process, as you said. So I think that obligates the county even more to do their due diligence, because there isn't going to be any big public process where other people will do their work for them. So it's critical to really leave no stone unturned before you make your decision.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you for joining me and being engaged enough to really want to see how I think about things, because I think it's important to get this community and the citizens involved in what's going on in their county government. So thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate your willingness to listen to us and have a conversation.
All right. Well, we'll see you around. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.